Hey guys, how you going? You're here with Bo. Welcome to another Cryptocurrency Australia video. Got the pleasure today of sitting down with JP Thor. JP is the founder, or one of the founders of CanYas, which is arguably one of Australia's most successful decentralized applications and crypto projects to come out of the country in the last couple of years. JP is also involved in a lot of different projects. He's the advisor of 4 other projects in addition to being on the CanYas team. So JP, welcome. Thanks for giving us your time, and why don't you give us a quick introduction?
Thanks, Bo. Yeah, that was a generous introduction there, Bo. I've been in crypto for about over 5 years now, and I really seized and captured the ideas and the foundations behind what cryptocurrency and blockchain really meant for the world, and very, very proud to lead a team building an ecosystem of scalable and usable decentralized applications. So I'd love to chat about that today.
Awesome. So looking into a bit of your background and sort of your prior history. So you were in the Air Force. You were actually a fighter pilot. Now, there's not many fighter pilots at all in the world, let alone fighter pilots that have gone into cryptocurrencies. I'd love to know a bit more about your background and your engineering background as well, because you do see a lot of really technical people with engineering backgrounds getting into cryptocurrency. So why don't you share a little bit about that and your experiences leading into crypto?
Yeah, sure. So I always wanted to be a pilot. I grew up in Northern Territory, and I finished school and immediately joined the Air Force. Studied Bachelor of Technology in Aeronautical Engineering, and then that was 3 years in Canberra, University of New South Wales. And it was during those years at the university introduced to plans needed to run MATLAB for just to roll out engineering assignments, etc. But I really enjoyed the writing code that could do something. Subsequently went off to pilot training, basic flight training, advanced flight training, fighter course, and then finally onto the Hornet. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. But at the same time, I was developing in the background, building apps, and like I said, I got into Bitcoin in 2013, and that really captured my imagination where we could take this. I finished up on the P3, which is the bomber, and yeah, I thought I should really do something now with cryptocurrency technology, disruptive technology. And 2 years ago, that was when I started to essentially move into cryptocurrency and running a tech company. So yeah, that's a quick little summary. And now, obviously, last year was the ICO, and this year we're developing the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I actually studied at ADFA. I'm assuming that's what you studied as well. I studied there as well. I was doing a master's in project management. I ended up doing the grad cert by distance. I wasn't actually on campus. I never got to the campus, unfortunately. But MATLAB, I have experience in MATLAB as well, and I know just how much of a beast and how daunting MATLAB actually is. And I think anyone that probably can master MATLAB can probably master just about anything else in the development space as well. So that's really interesting. So you got into crypto in 2013. You said that's early. That's really, really early when compared to most of the people in this space. What really gripped you about Bitcoin and crypto back then for you to say, this is the future, where this technology is going. I want to be in it. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, back then we had a whole suite of new apps coming out in the P2P space. So Uber, Airbnb, and there was the technology world was kind of grappling with the concept of P2P, just cutting out the middleman. And when I read the Bitcoin white paper, and the title says everything, it's a P2P electronic currency, and then that kind of really grabbed me, because I thought, wow, we can just move away from these legacy currencies and just transact now value directly with each other. And this network of computers is establishing consensus and determining what is truth. And then not only that, but keeping and preserving that truth indefinitely. And instantly I knew this was going to be world changing, and it was going to really capture a whole lot of industries. Back in 2013, it was a very small section of the community that was involved in it. And we kind of had that 2013, 2014 pump then crash. So definitely shook out the weak hands. But yeah, persevered and because I really enjoyed where I was headed.
So you're one of the crypto OGs. You'd be one of Australia's few crypto OGs.
back in 2013, I thought I was really, really late to the party, and I was kicking myself for not getting in earlier. But no, well, here we go, 2018 now, and new people are still getting in. Arguably, they've done, I reckon there's probably less than 30 million people in the world with cryptocurrency addresses using cryptocurrency. Arguably, anyone in crypto today is super, super early, and it's going to be part of the new internet, the new way of thinking, the new way of doing things, and transferring value and being self-sovereign and having data that's your own, and ultimately having your own identity that can't be stolen.
And do you think, because when I got into crypto last year, I was the same. I thought, oh, I'm too late. I've missed the boat. But 12 months winding forward, I can see that the state of the market and the immaturity of global regulations as well. It's so early. What's your take on kind of the market conditions around crypto?
Yep, it is definitely early. I was reading a study recently that estimate we're about the equivalent of 1994 of the internet, based on user adoption, how many people are transacting, etc., etc. So we are stupidly early. If you think about especially what Ethereum and what tokens can capture, literally everything can and probably should and will be tokenized. We're talking, if you expand your mind away from just M1 money supply and get into M2, M3 up to M4 money supply, which arguably Bitcoin can absorb all of that, that's $30 to $40 trillion just in the money supply. Then we get into gold, commodities, etc., etc. Now you're thinking, okay, Ethereum and tokenized gold and tokenized properties, etc., are now up to 100 trillion. And then when you get into derivatives, which arguably Ethereum and tokens handle far more better than the easy class requiring intermediaries, we're talking at least 1,000 trillion. I would say 23 years from now, the cryptocurrency market will be everything, and we should expect it to be over 100 up to 1,000 trillion for sure.
Because you're also now having the potential for tokenized securities with platforms like Polymath. You may even see stocks end up becoming tokenized as well.
You will see stocks become tokenized. Yeah, it just makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
It's fast, trustless. It's transparent. Yeah, definitely stocks will be the quick to follow suit. End of this year, we will have Adara. Obviously, you mentioned that Polymath and Shares Post come online. The Gibraltar Stock Exchange will also come online, Securities Exchange. So next year, 2019, will probably be the year of a security token, and that's a new way of continuous kind of pump more liquidity to the market. And ultimately, because it's such a free liquid market, that value is going to ultimately end back up in Bitcoin and Ethereum, etc. So just hold crypto, can't go wrong.
Yeah, I must say, it's funny watching the cycles of the market, as you see either capital coming into Bitcoin and altcoins, or you might see capital coming into Bitcoin and out of Bitcoin into altcoins. I say to people, especially new people coming in that are looking at different cryptos, I just say, don't underestimate Bitcoin. Just don't underestimate it, because I think too, it's probably going to be the first crypto that actually has things like ETFs. I mean, when you look at Gemini and you look at the Winklevoss twins and all the regulatory frameworks they're trying to apply, it's all around Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin is still so strong. So I'd love to...
Bitcoin.
So
yeah, the unique thing with Bitcoin is it is literally just a peer-to-peer currency. You have Ethereum, EOS, etc. They're trying to build world computers and decentralized application platforms. But being a currency is not their primary focus. Bitcoin does nothing but be a currency. So, and it's obviously got the huge brand power. The thing about currencies, it's the winner-take-all Pareto's principle. It benefits everyone to use the same currency. And what better currency than it is with Bitcoin powered by a layer 2 scaling solution like Lightning Network. With Lightning Network, and also I want to bring this up, Lightning Network will escrow and hold out of circulation a huge amount of Bitcoin. And I don't think people estimate are ready for it. So with a functioning Lightning network, which is currently on mainnet, you can currently pay me a Lightning transaction on an Android app. Right today, you can download from the Google Play Store on the Lightning network on the mainnet. And so the Lightning network is going to suck up all this liquidity to hold it into the payment channels, and that's going to have a huge impact on where Bitcoin's headed. Yeah, so watch this space. You're right. Do not underestimate Bitcoin.
That's really interesting. I never knew that, and I never thought about that. The one thing on my mind was also the halving of the block reward, which is in, I believe, around 18 months, maybe just shy of 2 years. So if you combine that in addition to what you said about the Lightning Network and the escrow as well, that could be a very, very interesting couple of years price-wise.
Yeah, well, JP Morgan did a study and they estimate about $6 billion of fiat have only ever moved into cryptocurrency. And at the time when they released the results, Bitcoin was $300 billion. So Bitcoin is on a 50x leverage to any fiat that goes in. And that's without the Lightning Network. Add the Lightning Network in there and the halving the block rewards. If you put another $6 billion of fiat into Bitcoin, I think it's just a rip. Yeah.
It's exciting times ahead. I just love crypto. Well, that's really interesting, mate. Let's talk about CanYa. Would love to know the early foundations of the application and the idea and how that has blossomed into what it is now, which is a global ecosystem and a marketplace. Tell us a bit about the history, how that idea kind of came about, and the process to get it to where it is today.
Yeah, sure. So I high diploma, just had a terrible experience, and I looked at all the alternatives. It was high paid and Airtasker at the time, and really thought there was something missing. It wasn't truly peer-to-peer. I wasn't engaging directly with my service provider. So 2015, 2016, we launched the app initially in Darwin, then in Adelaide, and then we're just about to launch into Melbourne. We had about 10,000 users at the time, a bunch of jobs, people liked it. And then this was about a year ago, about March last year, where I really started, in my own personal life, started getting more involved in Ethereum. I attended a hackathon and to really get myself up to speed about Solidity and what smart contracts will do. And in fact, 3 of my team members currently were on my same hackathon team last year. And we ended up coming third in the hackathon with a solution for a decentralized microgrid of electricity. This was May last year, and which ultimately became Power Ledger, interestingly. When we kind of left the hackathon, we're like, wow, we're armed with all this knowledge about what smart contracts can do and what Ethereum is. So we decided to go, well, why don't we just work out how we can do it in CanYa to remove the intermediaries and solve some of those problems. And then the ICO craze took off. We had Bats, we had Bancor just ripping through crazy sales. And then I was reading some of these white papers going, none of these guys have any products, no users, they just got white papers. And I thought, hey, our team's, this team, there's money behind us. We've invested our own time and effort into building this platform. Why don't we've got users? Why don't we think more hard at it? The advisory board and the team and the idea. Yeah, we're right into launching our ICO.
So interesting that you guys actually had a product. You actually had an application. You'd gone to market. You had users. You'd acquired over 10,000 users. That's really decent. How much work and what were the key challenges in converting an existing application into then a blockchain and crypto powered app?
Yeah, very difficult. We ultimately we sunsetted our old code base because it was just incompatible with where we wanted to take it. So initially we thought, hey, why don't we just add a cryptocurrency payment layer? And then it really challenged our whole concept of what we're doing. And we thought, hey, we just sunset the old app and we just have to build a new application and just transition our user base over. Well, realized that actually to solve the usability problems and almost hide cryptocurrency from our users is a really, really small overlap of our existing user base who understand crypto and where we want to take it. So and now the challenges for us are to solve the usability problems. Bitcoin and blockchain are great technology, very immature technology, I might add. But the fundamental problem right now is the user experience of getting into cryptocurrencies. Private key this, private key that, seed phrases, et cetera, et cetera. It's just very, very hard to understand, very, very hard to get into. It probably took yourself 3 months to kind of wrap your head around, ICOs and smart contracts and sending ether to this and what do I expect and what's this gas limit thing that people keep talking about, et cetera. So we need to solve those problems. We need to make it great use, almost so that the cryptocurrency and the blockchain layers are completely transparent to you.
Yeah, that's most definitely the thing I've noticed as well. And you're absolutely right. It did. It took me quite a while to get my head around it, and I've even got a technical background as well. Just because you're adding essentially fundamental economics in with a completely new technology, and I use the analogies of the internet, but I don't think when the internet came in is probably always the best analogy to use. But it is highly complex, and when people say to me, oh, I don't understand it, and they say it in a way that they're frustrated, they don't understand it, and I say that's okay. Like, cryptos is complex. It's very, very complex. Now, it's interesting you brought up the user experience. Today, I sold some crypto on Fork Delta, previously Ether Delta, and it is just a nightmare. I mean, even still, this is kind of, it's not the best. Like, it's still one of the only solutions for certain cryptos we have. It's just awful. I can't imagine anyone that doesn't have a lot of experience in crypto being able to execute that without banging their head against the wall. What are some of the strategies that you guys are going to employ to onboard people that aren't experiencing crypto?
Sure. So we're definitely aiming for the ecosystem play here. You mentioned before we're releasing a whole bunch of what we call CAN apps, which are decentralized apps. And the idea is that we want to show the world you can release a scalable, decentralized application that is usable and that's not intimidating, and not just build one, but build hundreds of them. You can see on our roadmap, we've got can sign, can send, can share, can everything, and also all our marketplaces are can tasks, can services, etc. Like, we want to build marketplace for Uber, Airbnb, Craigslist, eBay equivalents, which we can do because once we build the core infrastructure, it's almost a rinse and repeat to build the core technology. But getting back to the question, how are we going to onboard new users, is we are just going to solve the user experience problem first, build a strong ecosystem, build a lot of free tools, a lot of easy use tools, where essentially come for the tools, stay for the experience, really. And we will start pushing them out. But fundamental to that is it's got to be a great experience. So we have a strong design and user experience team, almost as many as our developers at the moment, about a third actually, because we put so much priority on solving those user experience problems. Yeah.
And how has it been? What's the journey been like from kind of pre-ICO to where you guys are today in terms of what you forecasted in terms of, I guess, the effort and the technical challenge in terms of developing? Because a lot of these systems you're probably developing from scratch. I mean, you probably don't have many like baselines or other things out there you can use. How difficult has it been to get to where you are now? And have you kind of had to change strategy or implement different features because of that technical challenge?
Absolutely. A lot of the stuff that we wanted to do is not really usable or scalable yet. So it's not our fault. It's, the decentralized exchanges aren't great to use. The hard to get fiat into crypto, hard to get crypto into fiat again. So while we want all these extra features and these, this whole experience, we have to wait for our technology partners to develop it first. So we're working with Bancor, which is a continuous Bancor network, which is a continuous liquidity token-to-token exchange in a trustless manner. And we're also working with Origin Protocol to build some core infrastructure. And we've got to talk with a whole bunch of credit card providers or debit card providers, and they are pushing ahead into the regulatory environment to release their products. So we're really having to be very about our timelines. Our community always wants to see product progress, engagement, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our community. We love our community. We are constantly pushing content to engage with them in a two-way dialogue. Like, for example, we have 14,000 people in our community, just in a Telegram channel alone. And imagine if you didn't like a Telstra bill, and you could jump in a Telegram community with the Telstra CEO and go, Mr. CEO, I don't like this, can you change it? And then the CEO would respond to you that day in this Telegram channel. Like, that's where we're at today, where everyone in the community can have this direct line of comms with the entire team and call us out and ask us questions. And that's been great, engaging, challenging at times, because it's just so new. There's no rule book here. But yeah, we're definitely pushing ahead and definitely helping. That's why I want to bring up all the mistakes and experiences we have and our team have now, and try and pass it on to these new teams so they don't have to make mistakes we did, and they can just get straight to the career and good for them.
And I think people underestimate how unique the current market is that they do have direct access to CEOs. I mean, that is unheard of, especially in an instant chat, like you said, with 14,000 members. And I know a lot of other projects go through the same challenges with that. I'm not sure personally how long that kind of line of comms will last in the overall industry as platforms become more popular, as executive members of teams become more busy. But I think people, while they've got the chance today, should, I guess, understand how good that is. That's incredible. I just don't know any other situation or market that has been that has been available for. So tell us a bit about the App Suite then. So I went and jumped on CanYas, the site, this morning. It seems like every time I go there, I might check it out maybe once every couple of weeks when I see something pop up. It seems that the site's changed, the documentation's updated, there's constantly new content being pushed out in there all the time. And by the way, the documentation is just really, really good. I've read your white paper. It's excellent. So tell us about the suite of apps. I guess what was the rationale behind that particular suite, and do you think there'll be any more additions maybe down the track as the company evolves?
Yeah, sure. So when we, about a year ago, when we were first devising how we could do this, it was the decentralized app first, which was peer-to-peer marketplace services, and then this decentralized autonomous organization to augment that, and I'll explain why. Then coming out of the ICO and really working hard with the dev team, we are breaking up the app in many different little pieces. Right, and then we almost want to flip it out, so that the decentralized autonomous organization is actually the core of what we're building. And these apps are almost like satellites to the core, and the entire ecosystem is a living and breathing thing. I'll explain why. We want to treat each app as its own startup, its own, almost like an own organism. We'll have initial funding, initial dev team around it. It will have its own monetization strategies. But ultimately, if that app never hits product market fit, then it will just die. But if it does, and we want to create, like I said, hundreds of them, then, and these apps are all serviced operationally and through support by our DAO, then that app will thrive. And this is the best. This is why forests are so organisms, coral reefs, etc. So we're really taking that on heart and creating an ecosystem where each app is its own unique organism and given a chance to survive. If we do that, then we create this almost like an ecosystem where anyone can come to us with the DAO, receive funding, build an app, use our core infrastructure. Literally within a week, they can copy our code into it, build an app. It's going to get serviced by our DAO, so it's going to receive 24/7 global, multilingual customer support and operational support that developer doesn't even need to worry about. They just know they can source on steroids to the DAO. And then this app will have its own budget, its own monetization strategies, and it can grow into the ecosystem. So that's a new player. So what is our DAO? A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. Basically a permissionless environment where anyone can access. There are the crypto economics are not at the protocol level. They're at the smart contract level or the application level. So each member in the DAO, of which is currently about, in business, there'll be 3 tiers. There'll be agent, admin, and finally core. Each tier in the DAO will have access to a different range of tasks in order to complete. Any high-level task will require consensus through a higher tier, but each task has a small payout attached to it. In this way, anyone can jump in our DAO. They can see hundreds of these apps spitting out these little micro tasks. Someone needs help over here. This listing needs curation. This provider needs dispute resolution. This person needs help onboarding, etc. All these tasks are coming into the DAO, and anyone can just jump on there, stake some tokens, and start earning all day long from these tiny little tasks to service this global ecosystem of CAN apps. That is the ambition. Then we basically can create an organism that is self-sustaining, has no legal entity, runs itself, grows itself, funds itself, and there is no epicenter. It is just this global thing that just works. And there's no team anymore. It's just everyone. That's grand.
That's incredible. You know, and you raised a point there that I actually want to touch on. How does a DAO, because like we were discussing earlier, you don't see DAOs, I guess, being exploited in the crypto world very often, maybe because of the technical challenges, I'm not sure. But how does a DAO work with a traditional company structure, with a traditional centralized entity that needs cash flows and things? How is that kind of back-end business structure been to set up?
Yeah, so initially we see our ICO as a one-way opportunity to fund this self-sustaining ecosystem. And we don't have an exit, well, the founders of the company and this company that has shares and etc. We've got a slice of founder tokens which are locked up over 4 years. So that's our exit, we say. So we have 4 years to build a self-sustaining ecosystem. At the same time, this DAO has its own funds, but tokens contract. So that's an opportunity for us over the next 4 years, is to grow value and volume around the token ecosystem, so that in 4 years' time this thing runs itself, and the old company can just exit stage left, and this thing will self-sustaining and run itself. It's never been done before. We'll actually, there's no currently operational DAO to this level, where it's not at the protocol level, it's not at the funding level, it's at the operational level. We're working closely with Digex and their new DAO, which is coming online in the next 3 or 4 months, to really explore and concepts around what a DAO should be and what are the best standards to create one. It's very challenging. We have it's a bit grey and hazy how we're going to do it, but we know we should do it. But how we get there is still very much flexible.
Oh, it's interesting stuff. It's really interesting just hearing a bit of how the back end actually works as well, and hopefully the audience is picking up a bit on that as well, as how challenging it is for these crypto businesses, because so much of what they're doing is first time. There's likely not frameworks or existing even business practices for how a lot of these DApps are going to work, let alone the regulators probably trying to catch up and probably still trying to work out what cryptocurrencies actually are. So what's the latest for Kenya? What's going on today? What are the latest developments? Anything exciting on the horizon?
Sure. Yep. We are hiring. We're up to now, I think, 40 people across the world involved in Kenya, because we see ourselves like this is our year to perform. This is our year to deliver. So we're not holding back. We're very ambitious new roadmap coming out, a new updated white paper that's going to come out. They'll explain all the concepts behind the DAO, the CanYas App Strategy, more infrastructure we need to build out. And we're even exploring concepts where we may host Kenya master nodes, which essentially incentivize IPFS nodes with a payment and verification layer on top. Because we're actually a really large user of IPFS, and we need IPFS information file system. This is like decentralized and distributed file sharing, peer-to-peer file sharing protocol. So we're actually looking into that to solve those problems. Knowledge travel, the team are off to consensus next week. I'm with some other projects on the way back in San Francisco. It's all happening. Very, very busy.
I can imagine. Oh, that sounds really exciting. Well, JP, that's pretty much it from me, mate. That's all I had. We've ripped through. Super interesting conversation. Really appreciate your time coming on. I'm sure the audience will love this chat and learning a bit more about how some of the back end actually works. Is there anything closing that you want to say, anywhere that people can go to check out? They can obviously go to Kenya. Any social media platforms they can follow to learn a little bit more about you guys?
Yeah, just jump on our website and follow the links from there. But more importantly, my closing words should be, this is a really call out to everyone. Decentralized and distributed technologies will change the world. And the faster that you grapple this and you understand it and move into this industry, the more it's going to benefit you. So really have a think about what you're doing today. If you're not enjoying it, just move yourself into crypto, move yourself into blockchain. It is not a fad, it's not a pump and dump, it's not a bubble. It is here to completely change the world and change the way we think about transferring value and data around. Mark my words. So move into it. But as you move in, really bake your set the scene that you are going to ground yourself with understanding. Because I've been on the circuit for, like I said, 9 months now. There is, out of every 100 people you meet, 90 people have no idea what they're talking about. 10 people do. One person really understands it. So if you can be that person who really understands it, who understands the white papers, the Ethereum white paper, EOS, block producer, the economic flaws there, such that you can really ground yourself with fundamental understanding and knowledge of what cryptocurrency is and what it's trying to do, then you will just rip through the next 5 years. The next 5 years will be yours. Literally set a goal that you can go to the CoinMarketCap and pick any of the top 100 coins and spend 10 minutes explaining it, the team, where it's come from, the technology, what they're doing, and how you're going to get there. You can bake yourself with that kind of level of understanding knowledge. Like I said, the next 5 years are yours. Yours.
Love it. Love it. Inspirational stuff, even for me. Thanks again for coming on, JP. I really appreciate it, and best of luck with Kenya.
Awesome. Thanks, bro.
Cheers. See you guys.